Hello, my name is Susan Crowley and I'm with Career Services at Wayne State University. I've been a counselor on staff for about 20 years now, and I work with the employers out in the employment community to hire the students, and I work with students regarding their credentials for job searching. Today we're going to talk about resume writing. So this is our resume writing workshop at Career Services. The agenda for today is to talk about resume writing best practices and tips. We do have a Q&A session at the end of our presentation, and we do have resume videos that we share with the students at the end of this presentation as well. And then we also have resume homework that we assign. So if you are interested in having your resume reviewed, we're happy to help you. So the top 5 tips that we want to go over for resume writing are: number 1, the layout and format and how important this is. So this is a very conservative document. It's typically on a white paper or white background if you're emailing it out. This is not a fancy document. This is not a document where you would use a lot of colors or fancy fonts. Again, it's a very conservative document. No personal pictures would go on there. Your goal is to have the employers focusing on the words and the content, not on the look of the document. Number 2, you have 15 to 20 seconds to shine in your resume. So typically employers take about 15 to 20 seconds to review a resume and determine whether they are a yes or a no resume for them. So it's important to highlight your skills and accomplishments on this document. And if you can get the highlighted skills and accomplishments in the top portion of your resume, maybe in a professional summary or a summary of qualifications at the top of the document, that's going to be very beneficial to you. Number 3, list your experience in reverse chronological format. So each category should start with your most current experience and work its way backwards. So if you are currently attending Wayne State University, that should be your number 1 school you have listed at the top of your category, and you would work your way back with all of the other degrees or schools that you are working on or have acquired. Number 4, customize your resume to each position. So it's very important for you to tailor your information. The best way to do this is to have a job posting before you start to write the content of the document. So you would go through the job posting like a checklist, and you would determine the needs that the employer has, and you would write your resume and tailor it to that specific job posting every time you apply for a position. And quantify your accomplishments. So anytime you can use numbers or metrics to have examples in your resumes of accomplishments or achievements that you've had, the employers like to see this. So if you can tell them, I had a caseload of 12 clients and I assisted them with managing their health care, those numbers help just make your examples very concrete evidence that you have the experiences that they're looking for. So that's the top 5 resume writing tips to keep in mind as you're creating this document. I'm going to go over some best practices for writing resumes during COVID. These are important things to keep in mind right now. So one of the top recommendations we can give during COVID is to find jobs that are suitable to you. So ask yourself this question: can you produce the required results for the job you're applying for? Do you have the skills and do you feel you're a good match for this job? Right now, there are more job seekers than there are jobs, so that means it's important to find suitable jobs that you can apply for. You want to be a good match for the position. It just makes it all the easier to write your resume. If you are having a hard time writing your resume and you can't figure out what to say, you need to do some self-reflection and ask yourself, is this a job I'm qualified for, or is this a job that I just really want to try and get? So during COVID, it's important to find jobs that are suitable to your background and experiences, because those are the individuals that the employers are probably going to select to interview. So make sure that you're picking jobs that you know you have the background and the qualifications to do, not simply a job where you're like, I really wish I could do this job. Right now during COVID is not the time to necessarily target jobs that you're not qualified to do. Demonstrate relevant work experience on your resume. This is very important. So your experience is always fluid when you're writing your resume. You're going to pick and choose what is important to the reader to put into this document. So there might be, some people create resume templates where they have an ongoing list of their education, their qualifications, their skill sets, their technology background, their work experiences, any groups or organizations that they've been a part of. They may go through and enter in all of that information and then use that document as a template where they're reading a job posting and reviewing their template to see what is relevant and what is irrelevant. So all of the irrelevant information would come out and the relevant information would be left to create your resume for that job. So you may read the job posting and determine there are 3 items on there that you should have incorporated in your resume and didn't even think of it. So you can add that to your resume and remove things that are irrelevant so that the reader is not getting lost in information that doesn't matter to them. So talk about your previous accomplishments that relate specifically to that job posting, because you need to demonstrate in your words or in the text the experiences that you've had that make you qualified for that job that you're applying to. So make sure that you're going through that job posting like a checklist, one by one. They're asking for someone to do this. How have I talked about that in my resume? Where have I demonstrated that? And there's different categories and ways to demonstrate your experiences on your resume. Your work experience is always included on there. So any jobs that you've had or internships or micro internships, any of that information is great information to have in there. Your education is a section you would always have. And under your education, you can demonstrate experience through names of classes that you've taken. You could have a subcategory called project work. Maybe you worked in a group doing specific projects with others on a certain topic, and you could have a small write-up about that. Or any research papers that you've written, whether it's a 1-page research paper or a 100-page research paper. If you have researched a topic and have learned that information, then that's fair game to incorporate in your resume. You've learned about that. And then volunteer experience and organizations and groups can be set up on a resume just like you would your work experience. You would have the name of the group you volunteered for or the name of the organization that you were a part of, and then you could have a few bullet points talking about what your responsibilities were that relate to the job that you're applying for. And you always want to incorporate skills and competencies. So the employers want to know this information. These are typically the items you will find on a job posting. So it's very important to demonstrate any qualifications, competencies, skills, or requirements that are specific to that job posting. If they are listing on a job posting that they're looking for a team player or somebody who has leadership skills or has strong problem-solving capabilities, then you want to provide examples on your resume under your jobs or your student organizations or your volunteer work, how you've done those types of skills and competencies. So it's important to go through that job posting and determine what they want and what they're looking for as far as skills and competencies, and incorporate that information into the job or into your resume. So I want to talk a minute about skills and competencies. So the first thing we're going to go over is hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are typically skills you're going to learn in classes, or you're going to be trained to do these types of skills. These are things you acquire over your lifetime. And these are the skills that the employers are telling us. The universities are doing a great job teaching their candidates the hard skills, and they're not having a problem finding the hard skills in people to do the jobs they have available, but they are having a hard time finding some of the soft skills to balance this out. So they might have someone with all of the hard skills, but that person may not be a good team player. They may not do well with critical thinking and problem solving. And right now, the employers are focusing on a well-rounded candidate, someone who has both hard skills and soft skills. So it's very important to incorporate soft skills into your resume and talk about your soft skills in interviews when you can. So soft skills are going to be more habits that you've acquired or habits that you have or personal attributes. So these may not be things that you've learned, but you might be acquiring these through courses that you've taken, working in teams, in your classes. You might be solving problems or having to write papers, which is critical thinking. So you need to kind of analyze how you're acquiring your soft skills while you're taking classes or you're at Wayne State, because these are going to be very important when you go to job search. So these are 8 competencies to incorporate into your resume. So these are some of the soft skills that we were kind of talking about that the employers are looking for. These are the top 8 that they're telling us as university career professionals that they want to see in the candidates that we're putting forward. So teamwork and collaboration, they want to know that you can work in teams and get on and contribute to a team. You're not just a solo worker who has to be an individual working on their own. You know how to get on in teams, you can understand others' points of view, and you can incorporate their strengths and weaknesses, and you can work in a team. So number 2 is leadership. They like to know that you are practicing the skill, whether it's leading a project in class or a volunteer project maybe you've worked on, or something you've done in a previous work experience or an internship. So be sure to demonstrate any leadership opportunities that you've had previously in your resume. Number 3, oral and written communication. So this can be presentation skills, this can be writing emails, this can be simply writing your resume well. You want to demonstrate that you have strong oral and written communication skills. This is a top one that they are looking for, so be sure to demonstrate this on your resume. Number 4, digital technology. So do you know the technology that it takes to be successful in the field you're going into? Do you understand the types of programs that are being used in your field? Do you, if you're reviewing a job posting, do you know the technology that they are looking for, and have you incorporated that into your resume? Sometimes you can do research right on the company website to get an idea of the different systems and platforms that they're using. So if you're wondering what the digital technology is for your field, you can go directly to certain company websites, and a lot of times you can find out the platforms and technology that they use. Be sure to, if you have any background in that, to incorporate that information in your resume. Number 5, professionalism and work ethic. Are you professional at work? Do you let your emotions get the best of you? Are you arguing with coworkers? Are you disruptive during meetings? Or are you the person who comes to work on time and you're the team player and you get on well with others and you try and move your office forward? Are you there at the time you need to be there, and do you work till the time you're required to work? Are you back from your lunch break and all your breaks at the appropriate time? These are all ways to be professional, and anytime you can demonstrate this skill or competency in an interview or on your resume, incorporate that in there. Number 6, critical thinking and problem solving. They want individuals who can look at a problem and figure out ways to fix it. They don't want the individuals in their workplace who are going to be posed with a problem and have to walk to somebody else and go, I don't know what to do. So make sure that you're thinking of ways to move your workplace forward, or you have forward thinking as far as solving problems or improving productivity or different areas. And if you've done any of that in previous jobs or in volunteer experiences, student organizations, in your classes, be sure to demonstrate that on your resume. Number 7 is global and intercultural fluency. Can you get on well with others from different backgrounds and from different places? Are you open to their thoughts and ideas? Do you see the value and the strengths that they have to offer? They are looking for team players, people who can get on with anyone and understand that everyone brings strength to different areas of the workplace. So if you can demonstrate that on your resume, incorporate that. And career management, number 8. Do you know what it takes to move forward in your career? Are you doing professional development? Are you being involved at work? Are you understanding what it takes to get to the next level, and are you striving to get there? Do you know the background that you need in order to get to the jobs that you want to get to? So are you managing your career and paying attention to the next level and how to get there? So some key factors to keep in mind during COVID as far as resumes, there's 5 really quick ones here. One is to be aware of deadlines. So if you're looking for jobs and they have a specific deadline, submit your resume by that deadline. Don't be the person who's trying to get in after the deadline. That's not a very professional way to behave. That would reflect how you are not being professional, and we just talked about those competencies. So professionalism is a big one as you're moving forward with your job search. So submit your resumes on time. If they have a deadline, get your resume in by the deadline. Have your resume in the right place. So at one point, there were schools that employers would target to source candidates and resumes for their open positions. And right now, since COVID hit, we've seen a shift where employers are sourcing more candidates from larger platforms and online job boards. So this kind of levels the playing field. If an employer said, I only recruit from these 3 universities, these are my main pool that I look for candidates, now it's more of a level playing field. They're on Handshake sourcing candidates. They're on LinkedIn sourcing candidates. So it doesn't matter what school you went to. Everyone has a more equitable resource to get online and get involved with finding a job. So make sure that you have your resume on Handshake and on LinkedIn, that you're using your friends to refer your resume into companies that you might want to get into. And be sure to apply for those jobs directly through the company portals. That is the first place they will go to source for candidates. So they'll start there, then they'll be out on Handshake, LinkedIn, and they will look for other candidates through these large job boards right now. Enhance your skills along the way. So even though we're during COVID and there's not a lot of jobs available, that doesn't mean you should just stand still or stay still and not do anything. This is a great time to enhance your professional development. This helps you build your resume. So if you can find any online classes, trainings, or workshops, I know the university is offering a lot of webinars right now. Just do some Google searches, and a lot of times you can find different things to participate in, or maybe some organizations through the industry that you're looking to get into. They may have a lot of professional development that you might participate in. So these are different ways to keep enhancing information on your resume so it doesn't look like you just sat still during COVID, that you are trying to move yourself forward. And stand out by focusing on those competencies. So be sure to incorporate those on your resume and demonstrate them in different ways, and watch for those job postings and kind of read between the lines and think about the competencies that would be useful to make that job successful, and incorporate that information into your resume. And then tailor those resumes to the specific jobs. Make sure you're picking jobs you're qualified for. Go through the job posting like a checklist, determine what they want. Think about how you've done those things in some form or fashion, whether it's in work experiences, your education, or extracurricular activities, organizations, volunteer work, and incorporate that information into your resume. That's the way to make it successful right now. So really quickly, I want to describe to you how to tailor your resume to a job posting. So on the left-hand side, we have a job posting or a job ad. And on the right-hand side, we have Jackie Money's resume. And so on the left-hand side with the job posting, you can see how Jackie has gone through here and highlighted the skills and qualifications and keywords of things on that job posting that she knows that she's experienced or she knows how to do. She may have learned these things in her classes. She may have learned them through volunteer work. She may have learned them on the job, but she feels she knows how to do all the items highlighted on that resume and or on that job posting. So if you look at her resume, you can see where she's incorporated that information as well. So she has staff accountant highlighted on the job posting. So she incorporated that title into her resume. And then everything in green, she's incorporated as well. And then everything in orange, she's incorporated as well. And what this is going to do for her is not only help her tailor her resume to that job, but it's going to get her through that applicant tracking system. So as you're applying for jobs online and you're uploading them to these online systems, you're in essence having a computer that's going to screen for the top 10% of the resumes that match the job posting. And because Jackie has incorporated this job title, maybe the company name, these skills, these qualifications, and she's put them into her resume, the computer system should be able to identify her resume as one of the top 10 that matches that job posting. So it gets her through that initial computer screening from the applicant tracking system in order for her resume to come up as a candidate to interview. And then the resumes would go to the hiring manager, and the hiring manager would choose who they want to do the interviews with. So it's very important to go through that job posting like a checklist, highlight the skills and qualifications that you have, and incorporate them into your document. We have this rubric right now, because rubrics are very helpful lately. We've got a lot of individuals coming to the university who have used rubrics in high school, and they help kind of lay out the best practices in order to be successful. So your goal here with this rubric would really be to be in this yellow category. And this is a resume writing rubric, and it talks about what you need in your format, your education, your work experience, and your honors and activities to land you an interview. So if you're not getting an interview, you're probably falling into one of the white columns. In order to land an interview, you want to fall into this yellow column. So as far as your format, you want to fill up one page, but you don't want it to be overcrowded. You need to have it reviewed so you're not having a lot of grammar or spelling errors on it, and it can be easily scanned to those online systems. For your education, this needs to be a clear, organized, and well-defined area. It needs to include the date you graduate, not how long you've been at the university, but your graduation date, the month and year, your major you're getting, possibly your GPA, if it's a good GPA and you're going for a full-time job, any relevant coursework that might be appropriate for the job you're applying for. And you don't want to abbreviate. So make sure you're spelling out your degrees and you're very clear and concise as to what you've been doing as far as your education. And then your experience. This is a well-defined area as well. It should include the title of the job that you had, the location, just the city and the state, the name of the company and the dates that you worked there, and that should be for each job you apply for. And then you would have bulleted items underneath that demonstrating skills and competencies and qualifications that you've done at former jobs that relate to the job you're applying for. And then your honors and activities, this is a well-organized area as well. And these activities should be listed out and maybe bulleted so that they're easy to go through and read, and they should include dates and activities that you were doing for these honors and activities. So this is a document that will help you find a job and write your resume well. This is on our website at careerservices.wayne.edu. So this information is available to you, and it's a good resource for you to use when you're building and writing your resume. So this would be typically the area we have set aside for questions. And this is the information in order to get in contact with me if you have any questions or you wanted any of the resources that were provided in this presentation. Please know that all of these resources are also available at careerservices.wayne.edu as well. They're out on the website, and there's a lot more information out there as well. We have our Handshake database to search for jobs. We have a couple internship resources right on our homepage. We have career videos that you can watch, which are video shorts, and they go over resume writing, job searching skills. All kinds of resources are out there for students who are job seeking. If you have any questions and you need to talk to a career counselor, it lists out our internship counselor, our career planning counselor, myself, the full-time counselor, and it gives email addresses of who to get in contact with. So at any point, if there's anything that Career Services can do for you to help you move your job forward, please get in contact with us. That's what we're here for. And at this point, we encourage you to utilize our services and resources, and we have workshops listed on our website. Please, we are here to help you. So utilize this resource. It's a valuable resource to you as a Wayne State student. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you.